As I reflect on my 3.5 years here at NC State, I can majorly attribute my global interest and goal of cultural competence on two life-changing situations. Growing up on Long Island, New York was a culture in itself with the lingo, different accents, type of personalities, etc. Before I left, I didn't think that this were true and thought that I was similar to pretty much everyone. But coming to North Carolina quickly changed that false perception through good and bad experiences together. Even though some of my experiences were not always the best, it created a massive amount of wonder about different cultures and people around the world. When I first attended NC State, I was aspiring to be a veterinarian with animals as my sole focus for creating a better life. As time passed in my science major, I had a major turning point when I went to a seminar at NC State called Wine to Water. As the creator of the organization spoke more and more about how he has helped create water wells for deprived villages in Africa, my whole perspective changed. At this very moment, I realized that my love for animals would always be part of who I was, but that my calling and true passion was for different cultures and development, which led me to change my major to international studies. Being an international studies major changed my perspective within the first international class I took because it exposed me to so many global issues that I hadn't known about or really understood. Since I've never been outside of the country, it made me eager to experience what life is like in another country. My desire to explore as many different cultures as I could, in combination with my Italian heritage, led me to study abroad in Milan, Italy. My adventures began when I met my new roommate and soon-to-be best friend at NC State. The semester before leaving, we both quickly found out that we would be studying in Milan together and at the same school. I was excited to be going with her, knowing at least one person, because even though I had moved to North Carolina alone, this was my first time leaving the country. Arriving in Milan was exciting and scary all at the same time. Seeing signs in Italian and hearing everyone around me speaking it made me eager to submerge myself in the culture. Even though Italy is a westernized country, everything was still so new to me. Milan's clash of modernity, but with its historical background and architecture, really made it a unique place to live. As we explored our new city, we quickly learned a few things about what it is to be Italian. Italians are extremely proud of their culture and language. Even though Milan is a modern city, they still had their own traditions and norms that were different than the US. Being in Milan, there is so much diversity, as it's the fashion capital of the world and it is the most industrial and modern city in Italy. This aspect, brought together with the traditional Italian norms, created what they like to call the Milanese norms. First thing was try to speak the language. Italians would learn nothing more than for you to speak to them in their language, even if you're terrible at it. Next, you don't sit down in the morning for coffee. You stop at a coffee shop, order your doppio cafe or macchiato, chug, and go. Oh, and grab a brioche because they don't believe in breakfast. When you order any type of food, you can't modify it or even ask for salt and pepper. It's extremely disrespectful. Lunch is the most important meal of the day, and everybody goes out to eat and spends about 2 hours eating. As some of these norms were incorporated into every Milanese person, the university which I attended exposed me to so many international students from around the world, which really made my study abroad program special. Meeting people from Austria, Mexico, Colombia, Australia, Egypt, the UK, etc. really showed me how different each culture is, and this influenced my start to travel within Europe. As my independence grew, I decided to take my spring break to Malta and ended up going alone. Relying on my own sense of self in a different country gave me the opportunity to explore what it was all about and to learn as much as I can, even though my mom wasn't happy about it. I quickly found comfort in how welcoming Maltese people were through conversation, travel advice, and even getting free coffee because I ran out of euros. This led me to make new friends in Malta and even find new friends from Poland. As I traveled to the south of Malta, I experienced impoverished areas that were extremely different from where I was staying. Still beautiful. But I never lost a sense of happiness from the Maltese people. They say that Malta is the happiest place on earth, and my experience with their rich culture and beautiful waters made me agree. Ella me mira de tal forma que no sé ni qué pensar. My next trip was to Barcelona, Spain, with my amazing friend from Mexico, Paula. As traveling alone was exhilarating, I was glad to be going somewhere with a friend to explore even more. My love for Barcelona is its own kind because of its vibrant colors and fun culture. The history and the architecture differed so much from Milan, which made it exciting to see a different European city. We were lucky to know a local that was happy to show us around the city and take us to hidden spots. I had the best paella and got to visit their extravagant local market. Each new place in Barcelona gave off cultural pride and history that stood out throughout the entire trip. My next experience was one of a kind as I went to visit friends in Stuttgart, Germany. As there is nothing like exploring a new city or country as a tourist, being with local people really submerges you into the culture. Exploring castles, eating schnitzel, being around nobody that spoke English, including my friends' parents, going to local bars, and driving 120 miles per hour on the Autobahn gave me a sense of what it is to be German. It also helped me explore and put to rest some stereotypes that Americans have that Germans are mean or rude. My final trip was to Budapest, Hungary with my friend from Egypt, Ahmed. Finding hidden trails that locals told us about, taking a boat ride at night to see the Parliament building in its glory, sitting on the side of the famous chain bridge, drinking wine, finding the most Hungarian places to eat, and swimming in Europe's largest thermal bath made me able to explore what the city has to offer in its own touristy way. My experiences within my study abroad program was the missing piece to my understanding and perspective to my coursework while at NC State. Learning about different cultures and different global issues in the classroom without actually going out there and exploring can only teach you so much. Reflecting on what I have seen and learned while I was abroad and my classroom knowledge has given me a sense of cultural competence and cultural humility. It has made me take a step back and observe my setting before judging. It has made me put myself in a person from a different culture's shoes, and most importantly, it has showed me that in order for me to help people in different cultures with their current issues, I must be able to view their culture the way that they do. My future career goals to work in public health with developing countries will need me to understand and appreciate the culture before going and making changes. But before that time comes, I plan on taking all that I have learned from being part of the Wolfpack to teach English in Thailand and experience an even different culture than ever before.